What's going on, fellow spectators? Welcome back to the channel. First off, I want to thank each and every person that has subscribed to the channel. We are doing a $250 cash giveaway. It's going to be for the first 100 subscribers that subscribe to the channel and also comment on a video. It could be any video that's been posted to date, but you have to subscribe and you have to comment. Right now, your chances are better than 1 in 100 because not everybody's commenting. So don't let that be you. Today I'm going to do a video and it's going to be a different perspective on how the Oklahoma City Thunder lost to the Warriors in the 2016 Western Conference Finals 3 years ago. And I can just about guarantee that a majority of you have not heard of this reason as to why they lost. And the particular player that I'm going to be talking about, a lot of people don't know how or why he got paid as much as he did, but it's because of how he played in this series. If you like the video, please, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, enter in for that cash giveaway. I'm going to cut the intro off of there because I've learned the more that I talk, the less interested you guys are. You guys are interested in the actual video. So let's just get straight into it. In today's NBA, who is more important to winning a basketball game? Is it the coach or is it the players that make up the team? So for instance, could any coach have taken the Golden State Warriors over the last couple years and at least gotten them to the NBA Finals? I think most people would argue, and if you look at a couple years ago when Luke Walton took the team over, he is struggling right now in LA, but when he was coaching the Warriors, he helped lead them to an NBA record 73-9 season. He coached more than half of that season. So I think most people would say that the players are more important. Whoever has the bigger star, the bigger superstar on their team generally wins championships. Generally. I'm going to argue that the coach has some sort of significance to a basketball game, especially in the playoffs when it matters. And in this series, when the Thunder went up against the Warriors, you have Billy Donovan, who was in his first year of coaching, going up against Steve Kerr, who had already won an NBA championship the year before. Billy Donovan makes a crucial mistake towards the end of the second quarter in this game. And if you stick around, you will find out what that mistake was. But most of the time in the NBA, all you're doing is you are managing egos and you're managing the clock and the game, managing timeouts. There generally isn't a lot of strategy involved until you get to certain situations in the playoffs where coaches who have been there, done that, they know exactly what to do. This one mistake that Billy Donovan makes, because at the time it didn't even seem like it was that big of a deal, but I bet you that other coaches that are in this situation that have been there before don't make this mistake. Okay, Golden State Warriors at Oklahoma City Thunder. Game 6. If the Thunder win, they move on to the NBA Finals. This happened 3 years ago, and it seems like it just happened yesterday because as a Thunder fan, it is still very hard to look back on this game and to think that we could have won it. But shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? 108-101, the Warriors win. And to the casual fan, it looks like Klay Thompson goes off, scores 41 points. They come back and they win the game. But I hope that I'm going to be able to provide a different of a perspective than you may have heard and go a little bit deeper as to not just the fact that Klay Thompson went off, but how he was able to go off is what matters most in my opinion. And if you just look at these team stats, if you showed me this before the game, I would have bet a lot of money that the Thunder would have won this game without doing any math on field goals, free throws, etc. A big difference in the game is the 3-point field goals. Golden State made 21 out of 45. The Thunder only made 3 for 23. It's funny because you would think that they would have understood that this is a big reason why they lost this game, and they still haven't gone out and got a bunch of 3-point shooters. If anybody is into advanced statistics, you know that there are what they call the 4 factors, 4 things that if you win these all 4 categories, you are guaranteed to win the game. One of those is the effective field goal percentage, and you can see that three-pointers dramatically is going to improve the Warriors' effective field goal percentage. If you don't know what that is, basically it is saying that a three-point attempt is worth 1.5 two-point attempts. So if you make a three-pointer, it improves your actual field goal percentage. The other one is who made more free throws. The third one is who out-rebounded who. And not just rebounds, but offensive rebounds is what matters here. You can almost ignore defensive rebounds because if the game goes perfectly to plan and every single missed field goal, and there's no turnovers, and every missed field goal there's a defensive rebound, then it changes possessions and everybody ends up with the same amount of possessions. Again, if you set turnovers to 0, and on every single missed field goal, one team gets more offensive rebounds than the other one, then that means that team gets more offensive possessions, more shots put up, and a better chance of winning the game. So who had a better offensive rebound percentage? And the last one is turnovers, because turnovers give the other teams more possessions. And again, it's all about possessions. Whoever can get the most possessions has a better chance at winning if they shoot the ball better than the other team and make more free throws than the other team. In theory, they split this 2-2 because on the turnovers, the slight edge goes to Golden State. I know they had less points off turnovers, but they had fewer possessions, which means they turned the ball over less per possession than the Thunder. I would say that that category is even, and the Thunder win 2-1. Here's Golden State's box score, and Klay Thompson is who went off and scored 41 points, had a plus-minus of +16. But he was not on pace to get 41 points the entire game. Right here, if you look at the Thunder box score, Andre Roberson signed a $10 million a year contract after this series, and he airballs free throws, sometimes misses a lot of layups. He had an awesome game here going 5 for 5, but he had 5 personal fouls, which kept him out of some of that fourth quarter into the third that allowed the Warriors to make their run. Okay, so I'm going to show you the play-by-play from the beginning of the game all the way to the end, follow the trend in the score, and also follow how does Klay Thompson do with Roberson in the game and out of the game. But before we do that, I want you to watch this clip.
Adams steps away from Bogut. And it's this motion offense and all this cutting, especially from the two shooters and Thompson and Curry, that makes it so difficult to go.
Now I want you to watch this clip, but from the very beginning, I want you to notice how Roberson plays Klay Thompson the entire time. Klay Thompson scores, but look how hard Roberson makes it for Klay Thompson to get this shot off.
Adams steps away from Bogut. And it's this motion offense and all this cutting, especially from the two shooters and Thompson and Curry, that makes it so difficult to go.
And just a few more examples of what it looks like when Klay Thompson doesn't score.
By Draymond Green. And he kind of allowed himself a little wiggle room that he can get one more, but he's not going to get any more than 5. That remains to be seen. Half mode.
And that is what occurred in games 5 and 6 against San Antonio. Thompson comes up short. Thompson with the rebound blocked by Adams.
Of the teams all year as the defending champs, they should be able to weather the storm. Oh, the reception by Roberson. Roberson with those long arms getting a piece of that. Klay Thompson.
You can clearly see that Roberson makes Klay Thompson have to work extremely hard. It drains energy, it decreases confidence, but when Roberson is out of the game, that confidence can skyrocket because he knows he doesn't have somebody chasing him down everywhere and staying with him all the time. So it starts off, they're both starters. Thompson misses a three-pointer, they get an offensive rebound, kick it back out. Actually, I think it's an out-of-bounds play on the first three. Thompson makes it 3-2 Warriors. Later in the first quarter, Roberson blocks a Klay Thompson layup. Klay Thompson misses a 26-foot three-point jumper, and this is where the Thunder take the lead and start to pull ahead. Draymond Green, bad pass because Roberson gets in the way and steals the ball. Roberson blocks another Thompson 2-foot layup. Klay Thompson misses a 2-point shot. Klay Thompson misses a 25-foot three-point jumper. We are now in the second quarter. He misses a 24-foot three-point pull-up. Now, They had a 10-point lead. The Warriors start to come back. Klay Thompson did make a 3-point shot to get them to 40. So the lead has already started to cut down from that 10-point lead that they had. Andre Roberson takes a personal foul on Andrew Bogut, hoping that Bogut will miss his free throws. The Thunder can get more possessions. Again, it's all about possessions, and increase their lead again before the half. Andre Roberson has 0 fouls at this time. And this is where I believe that coaching becomes vital in the NBA. You get in certain situations, especially in the playoffs, and coaching can become a huge advantage. If you know that you need a player in the fourth quarter, even though they have 0 fouls, you don't know how the rest of the game is going to go, you don't ever let a player take that foul if you need them later on in the game. Put somebody in the game to give that foul. And you'll see the strategy works for a second. Andrew Bogut makes only 1 out of the 2 free throws. The Thunder come down, get an and 1 from Serge Ibaka, increase the lead from 6 to 8. But then you can see with about a minute left in the second quarter, Andre Iguodala draws a foul on Andre Roberson. He picks up his second, just like that. And starting in the third quarter, Klay Thompson makes a 24-foot 3-point jumper to cut the lead down to 2. Roberson, offensive charge at the very beginning of the third quarter, picks up his 3rd foul in the span of 2 playing minutes. So now Roberson can't play as aggressive. Klay Thompson makes another 3-point jumper. And then a couple minutes later in the third quarter, Andre Roberson picks up his 4th foul. You can see that the game is now getting close. It's now tied. Dion Waiters enters the game for Andre Roberson. By the time Andre Roberson enters back into the game, the Thunder still have a 4-point lead. Roberson makes a 2-point shot. And then with a 5-point lead, Andre Roberson with another offensive charge drawn by Draymond Green. His 5th foul, turnover on the Thunder. Anthony Morrow enters the game for Andre Roberson. And that's where the game turns. Because if Andre Roberson does not have to sit these minutes out, I do not think that Klay Thompson does what he does. Yes, Klay Thompson was getting his points, but he was not having the night that we all know that he had if it wasn't for Andre Roberson getting pulled from the game with 4:11 left in the third quarter. You get to the start of the fourth quarter, and right away at 11:26, Klay Thompson makes a 25-foot 3-point jumper. Right back down, Klay Thompson makes another 25-foot 3-point jumper. 8:37, Klay Thompson makes a 24-foot 3-point jump shot. Nobody is harassing him on the defensive end. The lead is cut to 5. The Thunder are still playing well on the offensive side, but Klay Thompson is keeping them in the game. If it wasn't for that, the Thunder would have pulled away in this game. And right away, Billy Donovan sees what is happening. Andre Roberson comes right back into the game for Kevin Durant nonetheless at 8:27 left in the fourth quarter with 5 fouls to try to stop and slow down Klay Thompson. And he does for about 4 minutes until Klay Thompson makes another 3-point jump shot. Lead gets cut back down to 4. Next possession down, Roberson blocks Klay Thompson's 3-foot layup. He gets pulled soon after that block, and he comes back in with 2 minutes left, and the game is tied after Steph Curry makes a 3-pointer to tie the game. He makes a huge layup to give them the lead. Iguodala comes back and ties the game. Klay Thompson is Klay Thompson. He is now feeling it. Makes another 25-foot 3-point jumper. Roberson has to be careful. Klay Thompson gives them the lead, and they don't ever look back. The Thunder turn the ball over, miss a lot of shots. Klay Thompson does come back and miss another 3-point jumper. And at that point, the game is all but over. Klay Thompson gets fouled, makes his 2 free throws, gives him 41. And there's not enough time for the Thunder to come back and win the game. Klay Thompson becomes Mr. Game 6 pretty much here in 2016. And if you look at all the 3-pointers that he made, see if you can count how many times Andre Roberson was actually guarding him. Because a lot of them were, when he was on the court, they were in transition. They did some screens. They found other ways to get Thompson open and get Roberson off of him because he was such a great defender. And he made it extremely difficult for even good shooters like Klay Thompson to get good looks at the basket. See if you can count them.
Who has the green light for quick shots would be Thompson and Curry. And here is Thompson for 3.
Adams, who would have been his 3rd.
For Durant, his first. A 3-pointer.
But you see that it seems like he just is not comfortable.
Thompson, yes, another three. Curry on the move, met by Durant, and he pulls it back. Thompson wide open for three. Durant 0 for 6 from beyond that three-point line. Here is Thompson, who's been on fire, and he hits it.
To move the ball better when the ball slows down.
All right, here is Thompson again. Went down, was looking for a foul. 8-point lead for the Thunder. Here's Thompson, who just checked back in and knocks down a... Thompson, a rainbow three. Iguodala had it knocked away, recovered by Bogut. They get it to Curry, and he fires. Bogut keeping it alive for the new possession. Thompson turning and shooting. What in half?
And you see what that patience does. It gives him time to get set and knock it down.
A long three for Thompson, and Brooks stumbling, lost it. Again, it is Iguodala. Thompson fires for three. Yes!
Well, you can see here on the shot chart, before he goes into foul trouble, it's kind of like the multiple passes. Roberson on the bench, and Thompson is able to get into a rhythm, and he goes off and brings the win home for the Warriors. Now, I'm not saying that the Warriors don't win this game, but Roberson intentionally fouling at the end of the second quarter, 4 fouls versus 5 fouls, is completely different in the coach, whether he pulls you out of the game or not. It's different in how the player can play physically. It just changes the whole game completely. The fact that he took that personal foul at the end of the second quarter. But props to the Warriors. They did come and win that game. And the rest is history. Roberson signed $10 million and he is now injured and he has not played very many games in the last 2 full seasons. And he might not be the same player when he comes back. Time will tell. But until then, I am checking out. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, please subscribe, comment, turn on the notification bell, and we will see you guys on the flip side.